Dear friends, my name is Mark. You're watching Welcome to Mark's Bible Study. So happy to be with you. Videos we are adding on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. My dear friends, and today about Jesus calming the storm. It's 9:56 a.m. It's the 16th today of February 2026. Tomorrow is Fab Tuesday, my dear friends, and and it's gonna be very nice today because, just like I said, in the second of February about Groundhog Day that groundhog did see his shadow. So the groundhog did see his shadow. So it is. So it's gonna be spring. So the springtime is gonna be a little bit earlier. So today, I want to talk to you about how Jesus was calming the storm. Jesus was calming the storm in the book of Matthew. In the book of Matthew, you know what I mean. In the book of Matthew, we are moving into. We are doing the book of Matthew, so that's a really good book. It's a really good book of Matthew. So yeah. Okay. I don't know where we. Uh, Jesus comes the storm, and we still in chapter 8. We are still in chapter 8, and we're gonna read this. Then Jesus got into the boat and started across the lake with his disciples. Suddenly, a fierce storm struck the lake, with waves breaking into the boat. Excuse me. Excuse me. But Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him up, shouting, "Lord, save us! We are going to drown." Jesus responded, "Why are you afraid? You have so little faith." Then he got up and rebuked the wind and waves, and suddenly there was a great calm. The disciples were amazed. "Who is this man?" they asked. Even the winds and waves obeyed him. So that was a kind of a miracle. Jesus was not uh, like doing magic or something like this. He was doing those kind of miracles, and that was about when the disciples went on a boat, and a big storm came over. The big waves were the big waves, and then Jesus calmed the storm, isn't it? So today we are going to talk about really about cooperating with other people too, but also with calming down with your strong emotions. This is really important, how we controlling our emotions. It's really important how we controlling our emotions. Are we angry? Are we sad? Are we afraid? Are we stressed out? Or those other emotions are very, very strong, but also they are negative, and we need to control our emotions. So let me tell you about let me tell you that those emotions like the storm, that those are very strong emotions because there's a strong wind, there's a strong, there's a, it's a huge rain, and there are huge waves. Those are strong emotions. So those are actually, so this is actually coming, Jesus was coming down the storm. That means Jesus was coming down the emotions. So this is actually, what it says, that Jesus was coming down the storm. That means we need to calm down with our emotions. Emotions can be strong, can be emotions can be strong, just like the storm, right? But we need to control our emotions. So the most important that we need to control is our anger. We need to control our anger. Sometimes when we are angry, we are saying things that we shouldn't say. Sometimes we are angry. Sometimes we're doing things that we shouldn't do. Anger is really getting us into big trouble, right? Anger is getting us into a big trouble, right? It's getting us into a huge trouble that we don't really, that we are not, that we don't really want to be in this trouble, but we are in trouble when we are getting angry with somebody or getting angry with something. All the time, anger is a negative emotion. That's why Jesus was coming down the storm. That's why Jesus was coming down the nature that he created, right? So the thing is that Jesus was trying to calm down the storm. We, as humans, we should calm down our strong emotions like anger, fear, sadness, stress, and fear and anxiety and worry and all that stuff. Those are very strong emotions, and those are very, very those are negative emotions. All those emotions that are, all those emotions that are in this particular those particular group of negative emotions, like anger, fear, sadness, anxiety, and stress. Those are the emotions that we need to control so we don't get in trouble. But stress is also being nervous about something, right? It's also being nervous about something, being like shy and all that stuff. Those are all those emotions. Of course, we are joyful and we are happy. Those are those emotions. Those are those emotions what are positive. And sometimes we really happy, sometimes we really angry, sometimes we really sad about something. We are using emotions in a different kinds of situation in our life, right? In our different situation in our life, in a different kind of perspective, we are using our emotions in our life. This is actually what is going on in our human life. That we are using emotions. We are using emotions. That we have feelings. Because we as humans, we have feelings, right? We have feelings. Something is not comfortable with us. The brain tells us. The brain tells us that no, don't do that because it's not comfortable for you. It's not comfortable for you to look at it. It's not comfortable for you to listen to it. The brain tells us. The brain tells us. Even God is telling us because God is the one who created all this. God creates the brain, the computer of our body. The computer of our body, that the brain is in charge of lots of things. Brain is in charge of things that we look, see, smell, taste, listen. Our main part of our body is our heart. Our heart is pumping. This is how we live, because our heart is pumping the blood. It's pumping the blood that we have inside, right? Without our heart, we couldn't live. Right? Without our heart, we couldn't live. So we need heart. So we need the heart so we can live. But we also need our brain. We also need our mind. God is in charge of our mind. God is the one who created all this. God is the one who created us as His image. Right? So our emotions and feelings, that God is in charge. We are in charge of our emotions and feelings. Right? We are in charge of our emotions and feelings. We are in charge of this. What do we see? What do we listen to? What do we smell? What do we taste? What do we imagine? We are all in charge of this. God is all in charge of this. God is making sure that what we see, what we taste, what do we listen to, what are we trying to control, and all that stuff. This is what God is in charge. You know, all those body stuff, all those body things, all those body noises that we are doing, belching, farting, coughing, and sneezing. That's part of the fallen world. That's part of the fallen world. God makes sure that our body is healthy, because we are created in His image, right? We are created in His image, so we do realize that we as people are in charge of our body. We do not color our hair, or we do not color our hair. Our hair is the color that God decided that we have been created with. We don't do any earrings on our noses, on our tongues, or our bellies, or something like this. God doesn't want this. Our body is a glorifying thing. It's created by somebody, right? It's created by God. But sometimes people are making those poor choices to put some weird stuff in their body, make sure that they're fancy or pretty, right? That is not the case of this. The case of this, the case of this is to control what we have in is to control what we have in our mind. Is to control what we have in our mind. Unfortunately, our mind is our brain, is our computer that is processing all the things that we listen to, that we smell, that we taste, that we see, that is telling us what is that thing all about, that thing, what is all this thing going on. This is what our brain is doing. Is in charge of all those organs that God is in charge of our DNA. God is in charge of our organs, of our lungs, of our the system that we eat and drink, right? Those all gifts from God are the spiritual things. Food is a spiritual thing. We need food and we need to drink. We need to sleep. This is all about health. Right? This is all about health. We need to sleep, drink, and eat. Right? Sometimes we need to work out. Sometimes we need to sometimes we need to work out. Sometimes we need to make sure that our body is our body is just one body. There's some situations that there are some people with two bodies, with two heads, with all this stuff. This is all creepy. There's some genetic problems going on with those people, but instead, God created our 2 legs, 2 hands, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 nose, 1 mouth, 1 brain. And also, why do we have hair? Because we don't want to be bald. Jesus had long hair. Jesus had long hair. He had a beard and a long hair. Right? This is how God created us, to have beards and hairs all over the place. I know it's kind of embarrassing in some places where we have hair, but this is how God created us. Sometimes our parts of our body, especially our tentacles and all those, especially the part of our tentacles between our legs, is really embarrassing to this is how God created us. God is in charge of our body. We are moving. We can smell. We can move. We can talk. This is how God designed our body. God designed our body so we can move, so we can we can clap, so we can so we can feel something. Feeling is also the part that our brain is telling us that what the feeling is too hard, that somebody slapped us, right? Somebody slapped us, and this information is going to our brain, and the brain is telling us that you are in pain because somebody slapped you, right? This is the whole thing. This is the whole thing, that God created our body. That God created. That God thought about our feelings, and God thought about our feelings and emotions. That we are. That God led us to be in charge of our emotions and feelings. Excuse me. Sometimes emotions are very strong, but but the emotions and feelings are also the part of the fallen world. By anger is a part of the fallen world. Sadness is a part of the fallen world. Anxiety is a part of the fallen world. Discouragement is a part of the fallen world. Discouragement is a part of the fallen world. So this is exactly in one this is exactly a one pile that God created us to have all this. That we can talk, that we can hear, that we can see, that we can, God created all this not just because He wanted to, just because that was His creation, that was His work. The first people on earth were Adam and Eve. And they sinned against God. They were tempted by Satan, that they had to eat the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil that God specifically said not to eat. But actually, Satan is tricking us to do something that we can get in trouble with. Satan loves trouble. And that's why Satan will lose the whole war, because the whole thing that we are trying to manage is our feelings and emotions. This is between us and God. What are we trying to do? What are we trying to say? What are we trying to hear? What are we trying to see? Right? So thank you so much for listening with me to Jesus Coming Down the Storm. That very amazing, the amazing Bible study. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. Check out my other channels as well. Don't forget, we are adding videos on Mondays, Tuesdays, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, and bye bye.